Well, Olise signing approved by INEOS and the entire technical team at the club of Man United, and there is only one person way to obviously come in through and obviously stamp this decision that has been taken by the club of Man United. Welcome to the United Matters channel. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. John Murtough looks like however much he never wanted to leave the club of Man United, Dan Ashworth has gone ahead to obviously tell Man United that maybe he doesn't want to work with him, and I think that is going to be really important to note in here for you. It's already 16th, that is on a Friday, meaning that we've already gone ahead to enter another day, and obviously 16th of February, right? So guys, the year is that this month is obviously coming to an end. We have like 2 weeks left, so let's continue to push, and that's where we thank God for the gift of life and the Muslims. Barakallahu fikum. All right. Manchester United scouting department have approved Mike Olise. The interest in Olise from the club will be there this summer, and he will be under consideration. Let's wait what Dean Ashworth decides to do. So, Man United scouting department have gone ahead and really looked at Olise, and they've got to know that this is the guy for them to go for, and they can't wait to see it. They obviously gate this guy in. I've been here talking about Olise for a very long time, and I think there is nothing new I'm going to talk about him, but approving him as a scouting team comes in after we've gone ahead to obviously see other people coming when we talk about the lad, but this time round the person responsible for this story is none other than Fabrizio Romano, and it shows you that he's one of those signings that Man United are really gonna go for, and he comes in through when Erik ten Hag has gone ahead to find Garnacho a new position as a right attacking midfielder. That leaves a lot of questions for Anthony and Amad Diallo on who Erik ten Hag is gonna really keep at the side of Man United and who is gonna go. And this time round, it's not gonna be a decision for just a single person. It's gonna be a decision made by very many people into the football business, and that really means that United need to wait for the CEO Mal Berada and the sporting director, that is the sporting director, that is none other than this guy, that is Dan Ashworth. Remember, Dan Ashworth has told Newcastle he wants to go and really do all what he has to do at the club of Man United, and he is going to really come in through. Remember, for any credible team, the CEO, the sporting director, and the head of recruitment plus the manager have to first sit down and obviously make a very huge assessment on who is going to be brought into that position depending on what the manager really needs. And they're looking at the numbers of Anthony. They're really bad, unless otherwise Anthony goes ahead obviously turn around this season, because even Garnacho has gone ahead to obviously bench him, and it's going to be very hard for Anthony to obviously get a start in the team of Man United, because ever since that trio of Garnacho, Rashford and Rasmus Højlund has gone ahead to start, Manchester United has not gone ahead to lose any game, meaning that statistically we are doing better every time you're really having those three, and we are having high chances of really winning, and Anthony is always in for it. And sometimes it might be even the end of days for the side of Anthony, because when you look at how Amad Diallo is really playing in training, he's really sharp, and all he's waiting for is his chance. When you're playing against Nottingham Forest, and he came on and really had a very good cameo, he really had a very good game, and we thought that he was going to play in the game of Wigan, but he never went ahead obviously play into that game. So it doesn't end there, but we all believe that when Dean Ashworth comes in through, he's going to really put up a lineup of players that he believes can really do a lot for him as a team. So that's why we need these guys to come in through, such that they present to him the players that Man United have gone ahead to scout. Then they'll sit down, Omar Berada, Ashworth, and Erik ten Hag to come out with the perfect list on which players they have to bring in here at the Club of Man United. But for me, I would prefer Olise to come in through, because I would love him to be a starter right forward. And I would love to see Marcus Rashford really facing what we call pressure, because when you look at how Garnacho is playing, it's a signal that this guy shouldn't really be part of the team of Man United, because he's very wasteful. You saw him against Aston Villa, you saw him against West Ham and very many other teams, Tottenham Hotspur. He has not gone ahead to obviously get United to where it deserves to be. Obviously come in and obviously kick out the opponents and kill them off. Very selfish. He doesn't put in a cross, and I think Man United have every reason to get in Olise, because one will say, if Olise comes in through, he's gonna be a starter. Yes, he's gonna be a starter, and I want Garnacho to be a starter. That is it. I want Rashford to fight for his position, because however much has been a player that has been playing at the Club of Man United, born and bred, that doesn't only get you to the team. You have to obviously work hard and see how that happens. So we wait and see what the new sporting director for the Club of Man United is gonna do, especially when he really signs his contract. But I think if it's not by the end of this week or by the beginning of this week, next week, we might see this guy named as the new sporting director for the Club of Man United. But Olise, congratulations that Man United have gone ahead obviously putting that shift, meaning that he has been a different kind of player altogether. Now, my problem is his injuries, because even recently he really saw himself get injured, and it really sends a good message onto Mason Greenwood on his future at the Club of Man United. That means it's going to be hard for the Club of Man United to go out and really get you what we call a player called Mason Greenwood back, because if Greenwood was to be back, then there is no way how Man United would have gone ahead to approve the signing of Olise. So they've told us that it's gonna be really an approval of the man himself, that is Dan Ashworth. Then this guy is leaving, because we've all been fed up of him. John Murtough is expected to leave his role as a managing director of football shortly, and he's a guy who's gonna hate to fail. When you look at the players that's gonna hate to bring in, they are really bad. I think the only manager that's gonna hate to bring in players that are at least a little bit on levels, sorry about that, on levels with other teams, is one, Erik ten Hag. When you look at the players that ten Hag brought in, and it's not all about this guy. It's not all about this guy. This guy failed to sign in players like Kim Min-jae, Todibo, look at Darwin Núñez, look at Frank de Jong. He couldn't deliver them. But Ten Hag decided, when you look at Lisandro Martinez, Eriksson, Malacia, Casemiro, Gethon, Rasmus Højlund, you get this other guy is not really, Onana is doing great. So this guy should leave the Club of Man United. They've gone ahead to obviously not help the manager do his job, because we need a new sporting director. And if at all there is any Man United fan who can really come out and back John Murtough, then I think you've been not witnessing what has been happening at the Club of Man United. These two, plus Richard Arnold, who went ahead obviously gate off as the United CEO, have came out and really traveled to Barcelona, agreed the fee, and they failed to obviously get that deal done, and very many others. So we need people who are really doing the job of the director of football, who can sit down and obviously kill off the game. That is it. If they cannot really kill off an argument and really outcompete other teams from taking the players that you want, then they're not fit to be. And it looks like he has to leave the Club of Man United if at all Ashworth is supposed to come in through. We've been told by The Athletic that John Murtough's presence was a factor in Dan Ashworth originally declining to enter a proper talks with Man United in early 2022. He was recommended to Richard Arnold by Sir Alex Ferguson when he resigned from Brighton and before he joined Newcastle. So Sir Alex Ferguson had gone ahead to recommend this guy to come in through, but he couldn't come in through because he wanted to be on the top. And trust me, there is no person who is really competent, and knowing that he's better than John Murtough, who would obviously come in through and really say, I would love to work under John Murtough, you know. And John Murtough went ahead to sack Ralph Rangnick. That was really one of the hugest mistakes that the board of Man United went ahead to do, and it shows that how incompetent this side is gonna be. This team was really incompetent, because how do you let one of the best directors of football go? Now, in the history of Man United, we've never gone ahead to obviously make a very big given a scouting report that was gonna be really a new rebuild for the club of Man United. This guy wanted to bring in Conrad Lema, Julian Alves, Enzo Fernandez, who else? Akanji. And I've always come here and told you how much those players would have gone ahead to cost the club of Man United. Not a lot of money. So it is set, and this guy is gonna come in through and doesn't want to work behind John Murtough. If there is anything that should happen, John Murtough should work under this guy. He has to be demoted, and this guy should obviously be the sporting director. And because he knows how good he is, there is no way he could obviously settle for less. And I would like him about it, because he's a man of principles. And every time I really see us hiring in people of principle, that is very great. But we now know who has gone ahead to convince the side of INEOS to get in Dan Ashworth. It's Sir Alex Ferguson. He wanted him in 2022 when Erik ten Hag arrived here, but the Glazers were so much attached to John Murtough that they couldn't obviously let him go to create space for this guy. So wait and see how that pans out, but it's good that this guy is coming in through, and there is a lot of players that this guy is going to hit to buy. And it doesn't end there, because the former Man City coach for the academy has been linked to the club of Man United. Maybe that's another story that we are gonna do and come here and really elaborate more about it. Rokan David is my name. You can as well go into the comment section, tell me what you think about Olise Michael signing approved by INEOS and Erik ten Hag. Now they're waiting for Dan Ashworth to prove it the moment he's being named the new sporting director for the club of Man United. Would you keep John Murtough, or you would really sack him and get in Dan Ashworth? So may the living to God bless you abundantly. I sign out for now. See you later. Good morning, my mates.